Well, I'm really excited. You know what is interesting? It kind of seems like a lot of different things, especially, and I'm sure that this isn't just wholesaling, but a lot of different things. It comes in with some of these changes, you get that result you're saying where at first, when you first implement these, you end up losing money, whether it's changing the way you're running your sales team or whether it's like putting in new marketing. Like when we were shifting from cold calling to the inbound marketing, it's like, okay, we got to pay a fuck ton of money for this. And like, we're not going to realize that right away.
Yeah.
Get on your feet and make some noise. It's time to rise up and join the rebellion with Tyson Smith.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 20 or 21 of The Rebellion. I'm your host, Tyson Smith, and today I have on Rhen Bartlett. Guys, Rhen, so first I want to tell a story of how we found out about him. I had been seeing your videos. I can't remember whether it came up on my Explore page or something, but I saw your videos of you pitching innovation.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, this is really good. And it's funny because at the same time is when I was like starting to use Twitter. Like,
yeah.
I'm trying to get more into Twitter. I don't know if you've seen, but
a lot of people are.
Well, dude,
it's coming back.
Yeah, it's coming back. And look, I hear, that people are getting a lot of business from it. So I'm interested. I want to check that out. But anyway, I was talking about innovations on Twitter, and then people were asking me, oh, who have you learned from? And then, like, I'm kind of trying to think of everybody, and I was, like, including your name in it, too, because I was like, damn, dude, I mean, I saw him do his pitch, like,
yeah.
And I immediately saw, I was like, that's good, let's implement this, and our people loved it.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing ads, or videos, more videos from you. I don't know if they were ads or not, but basically, hey,
triggered that Instagram algorithm, didn't
he? Yeah, something like, hey, if you are, something cracking $20 million a year.
Yeah.
That was the number. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because before I saw that, I had this belief that the most anybody was doing was $10 million a year.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there doing. There's some big companies out there that do 20,000 transactions plus a year. So 20 million isn't that much.
See, that's what's crazy is this especially with wholesaling, and I'm sure with all things, there really are levels to this shit. Like,
yeah, there's levels.
Like, I remember when I got into it, I was like, hey man, if I could make $10,000 a month, I could do one deal a month.
Yeah,
I'd be sitting pretty.
Bro, I remember the first like professional job I ever interviewed for. The starting salary was $60,000 a year. I was a bartender at the time. And I was like, and I made decent money, but the hours sucked, people suck, right, or whatever, the lifestyle sucks. And I was like 64,000, and I was like thinking about the new car I could buy, and I could like get my own apartment and get my crappy roommates out, and but now like that's nothing,
It's crazy.
So, it is crazy.
But yeah, look, dude, I saw this. It changed my kind of temperature of money. I was like, dude, all right, I'm shooting him, do $1 million a month. I hear that you're over here doing $2 million. I was like, I got to figure that out. And so, we got hooked up with you, and so we've been doing this, just to let everybody know, we've had, I think like maybe 2 meetings.
Yeah, I think 2.
But so far, kind of your process has been, number one, we need to look at your business, right? We needed to look into the past and kind of see what we had been doing. And then you immediately looked and identified some key things like, okay, here's step number 1. We need to change this. Like, we need to drive this number.
Yep.
And I really like how analytical you are. Like, everything is just like, dude, the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because I'm not analytical at all. I'm not a math guy, but I've just learned through trial and error how to forecast things and how to look at things differently because it's all a math problem, right? Even sales, like you make 100 phone calls, you connect with 30 people, 28% of those people on average you can turn into an appointment, and then you close 20% of those. And then it just waterfalls down. So you have to figure out what the primary drivers of revenue are. There's one main widget in a wholesaling company that I focus on the most, and that's average profit per deal. Right. And from there, it kind of goes up. You're reverse engineering, you're reverse quantifying how you got there. And there's just a step-up system that we use called a KPI manufacturing line, which you guys seen, and you can quickly identify, hey, if you can improve this 5%, everything moves, right? And I think we've seen with you, I think like with one of your metrics, we improved it 10%, and now you have to generate half the amount of leads. Same amount of revenue, half the amount of leads, which cuts your marketing expense, which is one of our biggest expenses in the wholesaling business, in half. And effectively that drops to the bottom line. And then you can start just making small tweaks, a percent here, a percent here, a percent here. So, you know, when you're running models like that, 1 + 1 does not equal 2.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of algebra involved.
And I don't do algebra.
Well, hey, I mean, here's the thing is I really like it. I like how the way the entire thing is forecasted and reverse engineered. It's like, hey, if here's the goal, and based on what your numbers are here, here's the levers that need to change, and we'll get there.
You're only 2 calls in. Just wait.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, that's what I'm excited about. And the thing that I'm big on talking about is the best way, if you want to do something, find somebody who's already done it.
Yeah.
And figure out how to get them to tell you how to do it.
Yeah, I love it. And that's all I've done. You know, nothing that I teach or preach is proprietary at all, right? So a lot of it is taken from other businesses because I'm constantly studying other businesses. But, you know, I'm in a couple mastermind groups. You know, when we joined Collective Genius in 2017. I think we did 77 deals that year. And we walked in that group and we thought we were hot shit because we were in our market. We dominated. We were in little bitty Mobile, Alabama. We were the big kids on the block, right? Mm-hmm. We walk in that room and there's people doing, you know, like the first number I heard was a guy out of San Diego had $500 million in debt on ongoing flip projects. Still, that number's still like, I'm like, oh my, these guys are playing at a different level.
$500 million.
Yeah. And I'm like, these guys are playing at a different level. And then we see all of these, you know, different avenues. But anyway, I'm like, hey, look, I just got to make friends with all these guys, pick their brain, figure out how to add value to them, find out what they're doing. And the great thing about being in a mastermind like that is everybody's an open book, right? It's market exclusivity for the most part. If there's multiple people in the market, it's because they let them in, right? They kind of give them first right of refusal. But they're an open book, and I just went out and just started implementing everything, failing as fast as we could, and just learning and staying super curious, being on all the calls, because I didn't know anything, but I knew one thing. There's some folks making a lot of money, and they weren't any smarter than I was, you know? And so I knew I could do it, and so I was just relentless, man, and we evolved, right? And a lot of things that evolved within our company I can't take credit for. I didn't come up with. The only thing that I'm really good at in the grand scheme of thing is like identifying people that are smarter than me and then selling them on why they should come work with me. You know, even like that KPI manufacturing facility, like that idea was fabricated by my former director of marketing. He was like, hey, we can actually just make a spreadsheet that forecasts out exactly what. And then once we looked at it, we're like, whoa, there's some things here that, hey, what if you just fat finger this and change it from 50% to 60%? What does that do to the top line revenue? And then you just get curious and start playing around with it and see what happens. And then you can identify areas of improvement.
Yeah. Well, look, dude, I feel like I'm the same way. And I've noticed that within my business, it's like things start to really start to do better and better the more I get myself out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even when it's come to our calls, like you'll see, like, I mean, I wasn't on the last one because I was doing something with my own group, but like, but for them, it's like I want to know what's going on and everything, and then I need to identify the person who's going to be able to be the best at getting that done.
Yeah, it's called being a multiplier.
Yeah.
Have you read that book, Multipliers?
So I'm trying to think of when I initially heard of it. I have.
Yeah.
I haven't read it. I listened to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. There's a bunch of great books on talent, man. But you know, that's the thing is like we're only so smart. We're only one individual. But when you can bring together the collective brain trust of a bunch of people that have a common purpose and a common set of core beliefs, and you know, just want to be successful and want to have fun doing it, some magic shit can happen. Yeah. Magic.
Well, so what do you think are the best ways that somebody can learn how to do that? Like, how can somebody learn how to bring people together and allow them to, you know, live to their full potential?
Ooh, that's a great question. First, I think you have to start, like, you have to, in order to be able to do that, right, you have to be super passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't care and if you're not passionate, you're not going to be able to go out and convince someone to come bring that same energy level every single day. You know, I live every single day like it's the best day of my life. And I'll tell you that if you ever ask me, because I think I'm so fortunate to be able to do what I do every day. And even if you do convince them to come to your company and you don't walk the walk that you're out there talking, they're going to say, man, this guy, he doesn't, you know, he's just full of shit. He doesn't believe in what he's saying. I'm not going to buy in. I'm not going to work that hard. But I think you got to have purpose. You got to have vision, you know. And then you have to go out and be able to recruit and find out what people truly want. What are they missing in their life, in their career? And then offer an opportunity for them to fulfill that alongside you inside your company.
Yeah.
You know, I'll give you a great example. Like, we try not to hire people that are unemployed, right? I want to hire people that are crushing it, people that are A players elsewhere. I don't want people applying to my Wise Hire ads, even though I keep them running all the time, because you can pick up some good talent like that, people changing seasons or relocating or things like that, whatever. Maybe they feel like they've hit a dead end in their current career, but I want to go headhunt people, right? Yeah. And then when we're having that conversation, I want to begin to ask and take them through a discovery process, similar like we do when we're talking to a motivated seller, and find out what their problem is, how that's impacting them, and what's their picture-perfect scenario. And then figure out how to offer that to them working inside one of my organizations.
You're literally taking the concept of finding the best deals off market, and you're moving out. I got to find the best
100%.
people off market.
That's it, right? The only difference, like our goal this year, right, because I've rebuilt my company in Atlanta alongside my other partners, and we basically started from zero in July. Our goal is to get it to the end of the year by $1 million a month. And they come and they're like, Rhen, how do we do this? How do we do this? I'm like, it's very simple. It's two things, time and people. That's it. Like all the other stuff, we know how to send direct mail. Everybody else knows how to send direct mail. We know how to work a sales process. We know how to get and articulate Salesforce the way that we need it to be articulated. So does everybody else, right? But I'll go from zero to $1 million a month in revenue in a metro market that most people can't do $50,000 a month, and they want to know why. It's very simple. I can recruit better people than you, right? So I think maybe I hold business very in parallels with sports, right? So think about if you're building a championship like the Phoenix Suns. What did they just go out and do?
They got a superstar. Right? They found somebody with incredible talent. There was an incredible culture match that wasn't fulfilled where he currently was. And they paid him what he needed, and they got rid of the people that they didn't need to build that championship level roster. And now they're a contender in the West. Right.
Now,
I don't know if you want me saying this, but you told a story about some new guy you picked up, and you told me how much you were paying him a month to start off.
Yeah.
And that blew my perspective. You mind sharing that?
Yeah, for sure. So, first off, I think it was 10 grand a month, right? Base salary for 3 months, guaranteed.
For an acquisition.
For an acquisition rep.
So for the people who don't know, I mean, like the industry average is probably something like between $2 and $3 grand a month.
Probably.
With some commission.
Yeah.
Somewhere between like 6 and 10%.
Sure. And so the theory behind that is if you recruit someone on your team and they're willing to come over for a $2,000 base salary, their monthly expenses are probably about 80% of that because they need a little spending money too, right? So not sure what 80% of 2,000 is, but let's call it 1,800. The level of professionalism and grit and tenacity, the distance of separation between someone whose base salary requirements, their floor for what their expenses are is $1,800 versus someone who is $8,000, it's a big gap. How they show up every day, they know how to go out and make money because they went out and achieved enough income to where they could raise their expenses up.
That's their expectation.
That's their expectation, right? And so they have to, like, their wife will divorce them if they don't continue to make $8,000 a month. Think about it. They probably have a $2,000 or $3,000 mortgage. So this elite A player's mortgage is more than the dude who requires a $2,000 a month base salary. Not to mention that his wife probably drives a Benz. He probably drives a new Chevrolet truck, and his kids are probably in private school. He has got to produce. If he doesn't, he's getting a divorce. That's a different level of accountability versus, hey, if I don't make $2 grand, I don't have money to go out drinking this weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're going to bring a different level of experience, of professionalism, and of work ethic. And, and when you look at it, if you divide $10,000 by the number of days in the month, I don't know, depending on the number of days, let's call it average of $350. You pay more than that for a lead.
Right.
$350 a day. And then we just set the expectation and tell the guy, hey, look, I am very uncomfortable paying you $10,000 a month. That's $350 a day. I have never paid anyone that before. Makes me uncomfortable, but I'm going to take a shot because I believe in you. Here's the expectation. You're going to be the first one here, the last one to leave. You better make more phone calls than anyone, and you better get a couple contracts in your first month. In fact, you better have 3. And if you don't, this partnership just won't work out. We hired that guy over, right? My partners were scared shitless. They were like, this is a big nut. What are you doing? I'm like, if it don't work, I'll pay it. And they're like, okay. 12 contracts in his first month. 12 contracts. Assuming 50% of them close, right? At a 20K clip, that's $120,000. Is that like a 10X return?
That's a damn good investment, Rhen.
Yeah, damn good investment. And now I have a leader in my company, and I have 10 of them now, right? Because that was number 1. I have 10 of them, and they all lift each other up, and they're all competitive.
And that's the thing that I'm thinking is that if I bring on another superstar in my current organization, it's only going to lift up the other guys that I got who are already killing it.
Rising tides raise all ships.
Yep. Man, I think that's super cool. I'm telling you, like, it changed my perspective because I was like, everything you're saying, it makes so much more sense. And you know what I love is I don't fucking want somebody here on my team who is exactly like you said, they're trying to make enough money so they can go out drinking.
Yeah.
I don't want that guy.
Yeah.
Like, that guy can fuck off. Like, I'm trying to build a team of, like, fucking, like, stallions. Like, not that.
I don't even want people that drink.
No, me neither.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't drink it as a personal reason, and nothing against people that do. But, dude, I saw this Instagram video. I'm going to show it to you. And the guy, you may have seen it, and he was like, people were like, you know, he's like, what? People are like, you don't drink? You don't drink socially? You don't drink at all? That's weird. He goes, your fucking poverty is weird. Your out of shape body, right? Your work ethic, that's weird. Me not drinking, that's not weird, buddy. Your poverty is weird. And I'm like, whoa, that hits.
Wait, you got to show me. I want to see whoever this person is.
Yeah. I'll show it to you when we're done.
Well, hey, man, you know, I quit drinking maybe 8-9 months ago.
Sure.
And I just realized how much more of a fucking, like, dialed-in missile I am now.
100%.
I was saying in the last episode, bro, I got, like, NOS boosters on every single day. Like, my level of energy, tenacity, and just, like, aggressiveness about life is just skyrocketing.
Yeah, same here. And the hangovers, you know, I have I'm an all-in kind of guy, right? Yeah. And so if I drink, I'm all in, and that ends bad. You know what I mean? I don't cut it off. But what I've learned is that's a great thing if you can control it. Absolutely. Because I can take that focus and that energy and that effort and put it into business, and you become unstoppable.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of know yourself and know, you know, where you're trying to go. And I think success is just about as much about what you do as about what you don't do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think when it comes down to it, if you ever want to achieve anything, I think the first thing you need to do is look at yourself and say, what do I need to get rid of?
Yeah. Yeah. Bad foods, bad relationships, bad girlfriends.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many people out there. I was having a conversation with a guy I coached the other day, and he's having all these problems. And I'm like, do you know what your problem is? He's like, what? I'm like, you ain't gonna hear it, but it's that freaking girl.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's a distraction. Get rid of her. If y'all's goals are not aligned, if she's not there to support you, like, she's got to go. He's like, it's my girl. I love her. I'm like, what? Do you love yourself or do you love her more? And he was like, oh, it's deep.
Damn. That's a damn good question right there.
That's deep. Yeah. So we'll see what the outcome is. He ain't broke up with her yet.
Well, it's a hard thing to do. You know, I mean, that was something
hard thing to do.
That I really had to look at myself. And I mean, it ended up being a very easy conversation, but so I got a girl, and I mean, like, she's my soulmate. I love this woman. Yeah. But one thing that was very important to me, I was like, is she going to get me, like, is she in this for what I'm trying to do? Is she going to be, you know, down to do what all these things I am?
Yep. And is she an anchor or a propeller?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, does she make me better?
Yep.
And then, you know, when I looked at it, it was like, yes, in all areas. And 100%. So I knew that that's what I needed. But I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes the young men can make is the girl they're with.
It's 100% the biggest mistake. There's a lot of old heads. Like when I was young and couldn't afford mentors, like paid mentors that I had a personal relationship with, I just went to YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. There's all of these, you know, great writings and great, like Napoleon Hill and Jim Rome and, you know, a bunch of guys like that. And they all talk about all of these successful, super successful titans of industry and of their life. the women that stood behind them, right? They did not have sloppy wives. They had like strong, independent, strong-willed minds. And, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be super good at business or even interested in business at all, but they're interested enough in you to help propel you forward. Because men are driven by testosterone, which is a sex hormone effectively, right? And so you're either focused on one or two things, making money or getting laid. And if the latter part is taken care of at home, then we can focus on making money.
Yeah.
Right. And women bring more distraction and more drama into our lives, and they derail us. And so finding that right person that can keep you in alignment, keep you grounded, it's important.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is something I was seeing. I mean, you look at all of these guys, look at Grant Cardone, Manny Koshbin, right? They all have like some powerful, driven woman behind them.
Yep.
It's a necessity, it seems like.
Yeah. It's the yin to the yang, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yin to the yang. And because you can see, like, if you watch the evolution of man, like just a singular man, most men really hit their stride and find success and build net worth. The vast majority or accumulation of net worth on the average man is built after 50, when their testosterone and sex drive is the lowest. Because they're not focused on chasing tail anymore.
Yeah.
They're focused on making money.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this is something interesting. So I said I quit drinking about 8-9 months ago. About 8-9 months ago, I also got on TRT.
Yeah.
So I went and got tested. Here's the thing is I wanted to go do steroids.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to get my blood work done and see. And then my testosterone, my total test was like 300, like low 300s.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. And then, I started talking, tried different things, got on TRT, and all of a sudden at this time, a lot of things I started taking seriously. I quit drinking. I was like, looked at my business, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, am I dicking around the sandbox, or am I really going to build something?
Yeah.
I started taking all my content, everything I was doing on that area, everything seriously, and like, my life has fucking exploded.
Yep.
Now, this is the exact same time when I got on TRT and got my testosterone levels to where they need to be.
Yeah. I'm not going to try to speak scientifically on that, but I have a pretty similar story. Like, dude, 10 years ago, I was a drunk bartender, worthless, right? No career, no anything. And I kind of stumbled into testosterone on accident. I wanted a girlfriend. Like, I was tired of, only girls I could get were ugly chicks. And I was like, man, I gotta do something to change this. So I was like, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to get in shape. So what it's going to take, right? I can run game, but you got to look good, because the girl I wanted a dime, right? Couldn't get one. And it's funny because my wife, like, the first time I approached her, she was like, didn't want nothing to do with me. And then I went and got swole. I went to the House of Pain and got it in, and look where we are now. But I went to the gym, was struggling in the gym. One of my buddies was like jacked. He's like, bro, you got to get on steroids. And I'm like, steroids? He's like, yeah. He's like, it'll change everything. He was like, yeah, look at you. You're a pussy. You're a shrimp. And I was like, I took that to heart, and I was like, yeah, steroids. So I went and done some research, and I was like, man, like this ain't cool. And then my mom was like, I was telling her about it, and she was like, well, I know somebody, and they went to the doctor, and the doctor gave it to them. And I was like, sounds like a better path, maybe. Mm-hmm. So I went to the doctor, got it checked, like 256. 256. I was 26 years old. So, and what a lot of people, I think, need to understand is you're a product of your hormones.
Right.
Right? It's what makes up the chemistry of your body. It's what drives your brain, your ambition, your all this stuff. And so I'm a firm believer that, and just magically, right, I got my testosterone levels right, started looking good, started feeling good, got the hot chick to be interested in me, and my career took off, from bartender to whatever you want to call me now. But I've went even deeper recently, right? Went even deeper. I hired a concierge physician who has a specialty in regenerative medicine, and we're doing the whole blood screen and genealogy testing and working with some peptides and just some stuff. Like, my goal is to be superhuman.
I'm with you, dude.
My goal is to be superhuman, because if I don't get tired, I'm going to outwork you.
Absolutely.
I'm going to stay more focused. I'm going to be more mentally alert. And the problem with today's medicine is you go to the doctor, they just try to fix you. I never want to be broke.
Yeah.
And I look at guys that are big into this, like Grant Cardone. Like, go find a picture of Grant Cardone like 6 years ago. He looked like shit.
Yeah.
And then I researched, hey, what's he doing? And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Have you
Right.
seen the interview with that guy, the 10X Health guy? I believe it was with
Yeah,
Ryan
Gary
Pineda.
Brecka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I started
Yep.
looking at that. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's a game changer. Obviously, it takes some resources to be
Oh,
able to do that.
yeah.
You know,
But,
But
hey, that's why I'm doing this. shit.
here's the question. Going back to not drinking, what was your bar tab a month?
Oh, fuck, dude. I mean, we're going out to Old Town. I'm dropping a couple $1,000s every weekend on a table and
Exactly.
stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a couple $1,000s to be the superhuman max,
Yeah.
right? So there you go. You can't afford it. It's just not a priority.
Right. What sacrifice are you willing to make to get there?
Yep.
Hey, can you guys tell why this is a guy I wanted to come and fucking change us up, dude? Look at it. Just on all accounts, bro. Fucking $2 million a month. That's what we're getting to, and we want to become fucking superhuman.
Superhuman.
That's
right.
what I'm talking about,
That's
man.
right. And good people too, right?
Absolutely.
Good people. Got to be a blessing to the people, and the more you can do that, it just all comes full circle.
So did you go to school out in Alabama?
I tried. I never could get in. I went to attend the University of Alabama and flunked out of the junior college.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So I lived on campus for 5 years.
Where at?
On 15th. Well, I lived on 15th Street, and then I lived on 12th Street, right across from Tutwiler, right behind the graveyard.
Yeah.
All my roommates went to college, right? But I was a lazy piece of
Hey,
shit.
it's a pretty good way to do it, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I mean, I went to school there, and I didn't really spend too much time actually in the classroom. I went through all 4 years, and I got a system dialed in.
Yeah.
Where didn't go to class ever unless I had to go and take a test, that day,
Yeah.
whatever it was. And I had this buddy. His name's Ray. He's one of my still really good friends, and we pretty much had every single class together. And we just figured out the system of like, all right, we'll figure out what's on the test, and then instead of going to class, we'll just post up in our fraternity study room and figure out whatever we need to.
Yeah.
Learn it then.
Yeah.
And then we can have more time for fucking off and drinking and.
Yeah. See, you hacked it a little better than me. I went to Shelton State and did just enough to get enough credits to transfer to Alabama, got a Pell Grant, enrolled in Alabama, never went to class one time, spent all my Pell Grant money on alcohol.
You're over at Galette's, man.
Over at Galette's, Copper Top, hammering it down. So just priorities out of line.
Well, hey, you know what? I look back and I'm thankful for that time.
Yeah.
Because it was a ton of fun, man.
Sure.
And it was great, whatever. But the shit that I'm doing now is a million times more fun.
Yeah, a million times more fun. I'm thankful for that time too because I come from a very dark place, the hood, some might say, and it exposed me to like rich people.
Yeah.
Right. Like I didn't know anybody that drove a Mercedes until I got a roommate who did, and I'm like, how the hell you get that? My parents bought it. What do your parents do? Real estate. Oh, real estate, really. So, just being exposed to a different class of wealth, getting out of that neighborhood that I was in, I just didn't know it existed. Like you see it on TV, but knowing somebody, that lives in a 6,000 square foot house, I'm like, what's that like?
Right.
What's it like to drive that car? That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
dude, I feel like with all things, we're talking about, when I first started wholesaling, I'm like, I want to make $10,000 a month.
yeah.
But the thing is, then I got around all these other guys, and I'm seeing dude, everybody's making way more money than that.
Yeah.
And then, now, I'm just I keep wanting to level up, but it's because I keep getting exposed to other people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I'm being able to sit next to people like you, and it's it just, my financial thermometer just, keeps going up and up and up and up.
Yeah. That's a great point. That just happened to me. I went down to Mexico with two guys that are in Collective Genius. We stayed in the house. We brought our family, and I've gotten really focused on building my net worth, and I had a net worth goal in mind. And I know the guy riding. We go horseback riding on the beach with our families, and we're riding along. We're talking, and I asked him. I said, "Man, can I ask you a personal question?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What's your net worth?" And he tells me, and I'm like, all right, not too far off from mine. I could definitely get there. I said, yeah, I'm trying to get to where you are in the next 10 years. And he chuckled. And I said, what you laughing at? You don't think I can do it? He goes, buddy, in the next 10 years, mine's going to 10X. And I'm like, huh, my goals are too low, right? And just the thought. And I'll share his I think his 10-year goal is $100 million net worth. Right. And I'm thinking to myself, I can achieve that. And about that time, he says, and you work way fucking harder than I do. There's no reason you shouldn't pass me up. And I'm like, you damn right there's no reason. And so even like that, having $100 million net worth, and I've already mapped out exactly what I'm going to do. I sat down with my business coach and I said, hey, we got on a call. We were supposed to talk about something. I said, we ain't talking about that today. He goes, typical. I said, look, 100 million in 10 years. That's the goal. Come on, let's map it out and find out how we're going to get there. And we did. And we sat there for an hour and a half. And I know down to the day exactly what I'm going to do every single day to get $100 million net worth.
Well, hey, man, I mean, look, people can talk about it. You can sit there and fucking manifest.
Yeah.
But until you actually put pen to paper and you have a plan in order.
Gotta have a plan.
And you know that shit can go different ways and things might not be exactly the way you saw it.
Yeah.
But you need to have some kind of calculated.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, if it takes 15, so what? You know what I mean? Like, we always overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what you can do in 5.
Yep.
But I think the key is consistency, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Going back to how we found so much success over the past 5 years, we would go to this mastermind, and I'd be talking to a guy, and he'd be like, yeah, you know, quarter 1, he's a wholesaler. Quarter 2, now he's in multifamily. Quarter 3, now he's trying to figure out how to do turnkey investments. And I'm like, you know, and I'm just over here like, look, I'm not that smart. I just know how to wholesale. I'm just going to keep wholesaling. And 5 years goes by, and the dude's still doing 50 deals a year, and I'm doing 150 a month. And so it's just like staying disciplined in the pursuit, getting your gold standard, getting really freaking good at it, and then replacing yourself in the business. And once that business is sustainable and you have a team of executives to where, hey, all of your singular focus doesn't have to be there and you can still exhibit 20 to 30% growth per year, then you can go focus on that other avenue, on that other channel of wealth building. And I just see so many people make that mistake, right? They go from flipping to wholesaling to now I'm going to do Toro and now I'm going to do Airbnb arbitrage. And I'm like, but you ain't got no money. How you going to do all that?
Right.
You don't got no money. And so it's just staying focused, man. I'm telling you, I coach like 25 people now, right? So it's about 25 calls a week and at least 5 different, everyone, like it's just, they try to bring something else new they're doing in. And I'm like, you're not if you're going to be successful.
I can promise you that shit's not happening here. We got one thing in mind. Look, we realized this. I had on a gal. Her name is Vina Jetty. Do you know her?
Mm-mm.
So she might have already crossed $1 billion worth of real estate.
Wow.
Multifamily gal.
Yeah.
And I met her at Grant Cardone's office, and she started, you know, we're talking about multifamily. She's telling me about it, and all of a sudden I was like, I got a bright idea. I was like, man, I need to buy me some multifamily.
Yeah.
And I, you know, wrote it down, and I got all the things. I figured, okay, here's what I'm gonna start doing. Here's how I'm gonna do it. And then I kind of I got a reality check. I was like, is this part of my vision? Like, is this what I need to be doing right now?
Yep.
And I started to realize, like, no, like I can't dedicate time to this. Like, I need to dedicate time to what I was already doing that was making me money that I need to fucking 10x, and then I can go figure out how to do all that shit.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think. That's the thing, you know. I got to watch Jeff Hoffman. Do you know who Jeff Hoffman is?
I don't.
He's the founder of Priceline.com.
All right.
And so it's the one and only billionaire who I've ever had breakfast with. I got to have breakfast with him and shake his hand, and just, you know, everybody was asking him questions, so I just kind of sat and observed. But he gave a speech, man. It's like, what is your gold standard? You can't have 2 gold standards.
Yeah.
Right? How many Olympic athletes have double gold medals? I don't know if any do, but it's just 1 or 2, that's for sure, right? Like Shaun White, he's he's not a gold medalist skier and snowboarder. Right. He's a gold medalist snowboarder.
Right.
You know? And so, you know, Michael Phelps, he doesn't swim and do track. He just swims all day, every day, singular focus. Everything is about swimming. And that's why he's the best in the world. Yeah. He's got a gold standard work ethic, mentality, and singular focus on being the best swimmer in the world. You know, Tiger Woods don't play basketball. Yeah. You feel me? So, and it's just so easy to lose focus. It's so easy because, and it goes back to people comparing themselves and seeing other people finding success and think that it came overnight. Like that chick that's got $1 billion of real estate. I would guess she's been doing that shit like 10 years, 15 years. And I wonder how many single family houses she's wholesaled.
I don't think any.
Probably none.
No. She came in, she started doing that.
Yeah. So, you got to stay focused. You got to
Right.
stay focused.
Well, hey, you figure out what it is you want, and look, you might have to try a couple different things to get
Sure.
that. But
Yep.
once you do, like I know, like it's
Yeah.
wholesaling. This is what I like to do. I've been doing it for so long. Like I need to double down on that.
Yep. It makes me think about another conversation I had recently, like with I can't remember who it was, but they said something to the effect of, Rhen, you're so lucky that you know what you want to do with your life. Like, how do I figure out what I'm passionate about? I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know what I want to do. And I thought about that, and I reflected for a minute, like back to when I was his age. I didn't know what I wanted to do either. I just got busy doing something, and I was the best version of myself at that time. And eventually my purpose found me,
Yep.
and so I hear so many kids say, well, I don't want to start doing anything because I don't know if it's my purpose. And I'm like, well, you're never going to find your purpose if you're not doing anything.
Absolutely. It reminds me of something, Andrew Tate. Something Tate said. He said, a scientist doesn't go in the lab, try one thing, and, it doesn't work. Fuck it. Like, we're done. No, they keep trying shit.
Yeah.
And I think that especially when you're younger, because that's a question that I asked. I asked another one of my mentors, Templeton Walker. I asked him, I said, what do you say to somebody who doesn't know what their purpose is or what they need to do in life or what their vision is? He's like, you got to go try a bunch of shit, see what you like.
Yeah.
Right? Now that doesn't mean that you fucking, you start wholesaling and then, that works out for you and now all of a sudden you're trying fucking drop shipping or moving all over the place.
Sure.
But, you got to go out there and try different things.
Yeah. And I say, like, you'll know what it is, like your true purpose, when something happens, when you're out there being busy and it just like brings a tear to your eye.
Yeah.
Whether it's, helping someone build their business, giving them advice on how to be successful and they come back and they're super successful and it like emotionally moves you, or, just something like that. Like, you're going to know when it hits you. It's going to be like the Holy Ghost slapping you in the face. You're going to be like, whoa, that was cool. Yeah. And then if you can wake up and do that every single day, man, there's nothing that'll be able to stop you, because then it's not work. Then it's so much fun.
Right. Well, I do that, and that's what I've been trying to explain to people. Like, so like for us, we're talking. We have a standard that if we meet that, then we don't work Saturdays, right?
Earn your Saturdays.
Absolutely. And so, it was cool. I was talking to some other people, and they're like, oh man, that sucks. You have to work today or whatever. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, I'm so past the point in my life where it's like, oh no, I have to work. It's like, I get to work. Like, the shit that I get to do, like, bro, I fucking have envisioned this a long time ago, where I was like, here's what the fuck I want to be doing every day. I want to be fucking, I got fucking Jonathan. He full time. We're out there busting out content. That shit I love to do. I'm fucking making deals happen. Like, I'm turned into the motherfucker that I wanted to be. Sure. I built this guy in my fucking imagination, and now it's real. Like, I love doing this. It's an opportunity every single day.
Yeah. So I was listening to David Goggins' new book on my drive home from Atlanta the other day, and he said something there that stuck. And I was riding with one of my coaches, and he said it, and we both looked over at each other and like, that's G right there. But what he said is, if you're not the man that can accomplish your dreams, invent the motherfucker that is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa, that's it right there. That's it. And he goes on to talk about how he's Goggins, right? What's his first name?
David.
David, yeah. David Goggins is this little weak guy that has these insecurities, used to be fat, but Goggins is a savage.
Yeah.
And he had to create Goggins to get through whatever the water training was, because he's scared of water.
Right.
Scared of water. And so Goggins had to come out. And, I just think that's neat, right? Because your mind's such a powerful tool that you can invent that alter ego to take you to the next level. And sometimes that's needed. Think about Kobe Bryant did it with the Mamba mentality, right? He turned on the Mamba mentality and just went dark, and just was an assassin on the court.
Well, dude, there's so many people. I saw one, it was Beyonce. And she has this persona. I can't remember the name, what it was, but she has some name she calls Sasha Fury or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, look, like, Beyonce Knowles is a little bit scared to go out and fucking do these dance moves on the stage, and like, it's a little bit a lot, but like, I turn into Sasha Fury or whatever the fuck it is. Sasha Fury isn't fucking afraid to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Or Ed Milet. he said he was like, dude, I had to look and study these other people, like to come out on stage and do what I do, and like it's fucking nervous, you know, it's nerve-wracking, and like I had to invent this person, and I studied other people. He said he watched a lot of like stand-up comedians, and he took pieces from them and then invented this person of who he was gonna be. And it's like you just have to imagine that you're an actor, you're playing that part, and you need to be able to bring that out.
I do it, man. I do it. Like the first time I ever spoke on stage, it was a train wreck. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. But now, you know, I know to get to where I want to be, I have to have a jam up stage presence. Like, I got to get up there and be an excellent communicator. I have to be able to articulate my words, and I have to be able to deliver a message that resonates with people. I can't be scared. And, you know, my coach told me, he was like, you ever seen that movie Gladiator?
Oh,
and I'm like, yeah, I've seen Gladiator. He goes, what does he do before they let all those beasts and all those people out? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, go back and watch it. What he does is, you see him, he bends down and he grabs the dirt. And that's him flipping that switch.
Oh, really?
He was like, figure out what your dirt grab is. Figure out how to flip that switch before you go on and go into character and just go crush. And it's been pretty powerful. And I do it before I get on stage every single time, because other words, you know, I'm a wimp. I'm a weenie. I'm thinking about, you know, am I going to say the wrong thing? Am I, you know, I start sweating and all that. But, man, you flip that switch and invent that guy that can, it's a game changer.
Dude, I mean, I need to figure it out, because here's the thing. Like, I think people see me and like, look, I do a lot of stuff. Like, I go on live and I got, you know, all the time, do I have hundreds of thousands of people watching me? But it's a whole fucking different story when it's in person, you're on stage like that.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, it reminds me of, I remember being in junior high, and like I was always like really extroverted. I was good at talking. I wasn't afraid to raise my hand, anything like that. But the first time I experienced this, it was in junior high, and we went to one of these like co-working spaces, and it was for one of my business classes, and we had to go like pitch an idea.
Yeah.
And I remember just fucking shitting the bed. Like, I'm fucking standing up there with my paper, and I'm like so shaky, and I couldn't even do it. And like, I remember my business teacher was like, what the fuck, bro? And I was like, holy fuck, I never want that to happen again. And now, like, I'm still trying to figure out ways, because like, you know, when I have to, like, I'm trying to think, like, the last time I spoke on stage was at a real estate event here, and I was definitely pretty fucking nervous. When I got up there, I was able to turn it on and do well, you know? But like, I don't want to do well. I want to fucking crush.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. I think, too, one of the things that I've noticed is I get, the more I know the material, right? Like, right now, I don't present on shit I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't get up there and try to talk about ideas that, like, everything, like, you're coming to my event tomorrow, everything that I'm going to say, the only reason I'm glancing at that screen is to see what the next bullet point is. I know it. Right. Yeah. And so I'm that confident in the material, but still there's an element of nervousness. You know, the number one fear in America is public speaking.
I believe it. People are more scared of that than they are of death.
Yeah. Yeah. But nobody knows you're nervous, right? Nobody cares as much as you do. I think that's the thing. But, you know, when you look at super successful business people in general, they have all one thing in common: good communication skills. That's it, right? They are able to coordinate action through communication, which drives towards a common goal. And if you can do that effectively, you're going to be able to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. You have to be able to communicate well. And if you want to do it on a super high level, if you want to ascend to be one of these like celebrities like Grant Cardone, look how good, Grant would not be where he is if he could not get on stage and rock it. You know, that's why he is who he is because he has that personality. And so it's a skill set that has to be developed. There's some people that are natural at it, you know. Some people some people are good at swimming and some people sink like a rock. Yeah. You know, but I think the ability to effectively communicate your thoughts and ideas and your mission and your vision is what separates those who accomplish these incredible things and those that, you know, just can't figure out how to do it.
Yeah. You know what? That's why I think everybody needs to learn how to sell.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at the baseline, learning how to sell is just learning how to be a good communicator.
Yep.
And I think starting there is great because then that'll lead you to be able to communicate all things in your life just better.
Yeah. Yeah. And going back to knowing it, right? Like I train my sales team every day, 5 days a week. We don't train on Saturdays because I don't know, maybe I just don't feel like training on Saturdays. Like I say, I'm going to give you all the day off, but honestly, I'm like, fuck, man, it's Saturday, right? I got my hoodie on. But they asked me, like, I'm training a new guy right now, and he's like, dude, like, you're so smooth with this. Were you as bad as me when you started 5 years ago? And I'm like, bro, I was worse. He was like, well, how did you get so good? I pull out my sales process map. I said, hey, cover it up. Tell me the steps in the process. And he's like, number one, set the stage. And I'm like, see, it set the stage, build rapport, problem, impact, picture perfect, transition, deal killers, 4 deal killers, transition, present, close the deal. When you know it that good, you don't have to think about what to say next. You're not stuttering. You're not, you just know it. It's muscle memory, And so it's like tying your shoe. Do you ever think about the actual function of what you have to do to tie your shoe? No, you just reach down there, tie it up. Automatic. You can be doing anything, but it's the same thing. Like if you watch a toddler trying to learn how to tie their shoe, he is stuttering through that just like you're stuttering through this sales conversation.
Yeah.
And you just have to get a master at it. And I mean, I have, I won't say 10, I don't know how many hours, but it's just, you have to have a mastery.
Absolutely.
You have to have a mastery.
It's something, I went to Andy Elliott's sales training recently.
Yeah. I just found that guy, man. I like him. I like his style.
He's a savage.
Is he? Yeah,
dude,
I like
that motherfucker. I've seen him like the 3 or 4 times I've seen him in person now. Every single time I've seen him rip somebody a new one. Like, dude, he ripped Jonathan a new one. So we went to his office. Because he came.
You're Jonathan?
Yeah. he came on one of our calls, and I didn't know that he was out over here in Scottsdale. I was like, so I sent him a DM. I was like, hey man, can I come to your office? He was like, yeah, sure. So I come by with Jonathan. We're gonna shoot a little YouTube video, and I'm talking to him and some of his other guys. And like halfway through it, dude, he turns to Jonathan. He was like, what the fuck are you doing over there? John's like, what? And so here's the thing I'm gonna tell you is before we walk in, I was like, hey Jonathan, like keep the camera down, like what I want to ask him and like make sure it's cool or whatever. And Jonathan's like, okay. Anyway, and he goes, what the fuck are you doing over there? He's like, are you gonna do anything with that camera? Like, are you sitting there? You're missing all of this. Like, it's fucking your job to fucking make this man look like a fucking billionaire, and you're sitting there with your dick in your hand, like just rips him a new one. And I let it happen afterwards. I'm like, oh, bro, I'm sorry, John.
That's funny. That's funny.
But anyway, one thing he said was, he's like, bro, you show up every single day. You get asked the same question every single day, and you're still just fucking winging it. He's like, you want to be, you're out there just like spraying like a machine gun. He's like, no, you want to be a sniper. Yep. Every single time somebody, how many times do we hear, I need to think about it. I need to have my lawyer take a look at this contract, whatever it is. How many times do we hear that?
Every day, every call.
And it's like, why don't you have like the fucking way that you answer that every single time, just dialed in, same way every single time, perfect.
Yep.
Right. And so that I think is like one of the steps that we're really taking right now is we're identifying what are these key things that are being asked all the time, always asked of us, and what is the best way to answer them. And then we just need to drill that into ourselves where it's fucking automatic. Every single one of us, we answer it the exact same way. We're the fucking McDonald's, right? Yeah. We just have such a process where it's done the same way every single time.
Yeah, I like it. You got to have those tools in your toolbox, because otherwise you're going to get crushed. Yeah. You're going to look up at the end of the month and not be where you want to be, But the thing is like you have what most people, like you're thinking very strategic, like what tools do I need? How can I build this skill set that is going to ultimately help me reach my goal? And most people are just okay. They're like, well, too bad that person had that objection. Maybe the next person won't. They're hoping they don't get objections. Me, I want every freaking objection. Mm-hmm. I'm creating objections.
No, your sales process is we're going to take this shit head on.
Yeah.
I want to fucking figure out and identify all of these before it even gives a chance.
I'm going to ask them. Like, we were on a sales training call the other day, and we were I was doing a lot of sales call, and I said, well, hey, you want to go ahead and get this reviewed by your attorney? And I just seen jaws drop. And we get a call, and they're like, why would you ever say that? Why not? They were thinking it. Might as well throw it out there now. I would rather them, I would rather bring it up and be able to address it the right way as opposed to the end, me slide a contract over to them and then say, well, I'm going to go look at it with my attorney.
Right. Because at that point, dude, once you've like done that, once you've sent it, your chips are on the fucking table. Yeah. Like you got to cover all your bases before you get to that point. I
want to get it all out there, and I want to control the narrative. Another thing, like I always tell everybody that I train sales, I'm like, you need to go and watch a really good trial lawyer, right? Because they're always like people struggle like getting the context and connecting the dots of what they're trying to do and controlling the framework and leading people where they want to go. I was watching one of my favorite shows on Amazon is the show Goliath. Have you seen that with Billy Bob Thornton? It's good. You should watch it. But he's this amazing trial lawyer, and they just lead the witness. Like, they know what questions they're going to ask. They know what the response is going to be.
Yeah.
And they know how they're going to overcome that and lead the witness to where they want to be in order to get, the verdict or the outcome that they're desiring. You can watch like Matlock was a really good show, right? You can see like, and then the light bulb clicks and you're like, damn, all I got to do is just lead them to where I want them to go, but they have to say it because if they don't say it, it's not true.
Mm-hmm. That was something Andy said. He said, you need to make everything easy to say yes to, hard to say no to, and you need to make it feel like it was their idea.
Yep.
And you do it that exact way you're saying, where you ask questions in a certain way where you're taking them on this journey, and you already know where the fucking destination is.
Yep.
But they're in the driver's seat, right? You're just
100%.
in the passenger. You're just, giving them the directions.
Yep.
If somebody wants to learn, your sales process, what's the best way they can do that?
They can come work for me, with me. No, I'm just kidding. So I have a coaching program, and we train every day, not specifically on acquisitions. So the calls that we have now, we have a couple different levels. We do one-on-one consulting, weekly coaching, bi-weekly coaching, but we have a group call, and in that call every Monday we train as acquisitions call, and we train in and around that sales process. We overcome objections. We'll do role play and stuff like that. And then Tuesdays is title. People just bring their title problems. I have my director of title on there. She just tells them what to do. It's a very valuable call. Wednesday is disposition. Same thing. Thursday, marketing. Friday, recruiting.
There you go.
So all the core pillars of a wholesaling business, my executives are training. It's either me or them. I think there's a call going on right now, marketing.
Yeah.
They're getting trained by people that are in the trenches, in the nitty-gritty. There's a lot of coaches out here. They coach, but they don't actually do.
Right.
Or they coach and they do 2 or 3 deals a month, and so I think that's the degree of separation in what we offer is we're in the mud every single day. We're in the mud every single day. And so we're able to bring that level of intensity and practicality and just real world experience. So it's good. We got the coaching program. They could join that if they wanted to.
And where can they get some more information on that?
You can send me a DM on Instagram at Rhen Bartlett.
At Rhen Bartlett. How you spell that?
RhenBartlett.
Awesome. And guys, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, the link to that is going to be below. Guys, it's exactly what I did. Look, like I said, you guys know how many times have I said it. You got to find the motherfucker who's doing what you want to do and say, okay, hey, can you show me how to do that? That's exactly what I did. So far, we're really happy, man.
Yeah,
and
good.
Fucking excited,
Good.
There's nothing better than having a plan in place and just knowing the next actions that you're taking.
Yep.
It makes everything so much better.
Yep.
Get
the GPS.
Yep, exactly.
GPS.
Exactly. Well, hey, listen, Rhen, I really appreciate you coming on today, man.
No doubt.
It's been a great time. Guys, you need to go check out Rhen's content. Something I said the other day is I was like, a lot of people, they like to use like Instagram, TikTok or whatever, and they'll just see things, it's entertaining. The difference between you and me is that I fucking will see people who are putting out really good shit, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this guy's giving me this for free, but I gotta run with this. This is really good stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, just from the stuff on your Instagram that you're putting out there absolutely for free, we've implemented in our business, and it is fucking crushing.
Yeah.
So I absolutely recommend you guys go check his stuff out. A lot of incredible stuff over there. If you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple Music, please leave a review on the episode. Super helpful for me. I want to know what you loved, what you didn't like. And if you know anybody who'd benefit from listening to this, make sure to share the episode with them, right? We want to grow this community. We want to grow everything. So